stop. If you've been following every bit of Space Marine 2 news up to this point, you will find nothing new in this video. All I'll be talking about in this video is all the mechanics we know are coming. So please feel free to move on to the next video if you've been devouring every bit of content on the subject thus far. I recently did a video here talking about a lot of the mechanics of the game at a high level. And in this video, I want to go over all of the absolutely confirmed mechanics coming to the game as we are finally 1 week out from early access. A lot of this information is the same information in my previous video with some clarifications. I won't lie to you, every damn news outlet is doing a video like this, and part of the toxic culture of YouTube is leaning into trends. But I also believe in not holding the information in my videos ransom. So with that being said, here are all the subjects we will be talking about. For one, the game has both cross-save and cross-play, so you can play with your friends on day one and load up your save on any other platform if you'd like. We'll have 3 game modes to play. The single-player campaign that can be played co-op and with 2 additional friends if you want to. Operations, which are 6 set missions with differing difficulty that you can play solo or up to 3-player co-op as well. Then there's a multiplayer mode called Eternal War that is 6v6 across 3 game modes such as King of the Hill, Team Deathmatch, and 3-zone capture and control. There's full customization across the Loyalist forces with 6 classes, all with their own talent trees and weapon focuses. For the Eternal War mode, you can play as a Trader Marine with far less customization. You can color them however you want, but that seems to be it. As far as DLC goes, it will be purely cosmetic, and any additions to gameplay will be added free of charge as patches to the game. So the season pass that's on offer right now is just for cosmetics with chapter-specific colors and customization options. But that's the entire gist of this video. I'll be giving you some more details in the respective sections, which you can find in the chapters about the timeline in the description. If that's all you wanted to know though, please feel free to shut the video down and get back to waiting eagerly for Space Marine 2. Before you head out, if any of this info helped you out, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Each one of those things helps me out an absolute ton, and I can't thank you enough. Well, let's get started here on all of the confirmed mechanics coming to Space Marine 2. To start us off, let's go into a conversation about our game modes. So we're going to have those 3 game modes, right? The single player, the operations, both of which are co-op. You can play them entirely single player with the AI, or you play them with up to 3 friends. Or I guess up to 3 friends sounds like it's going to have like 4 players. No, up to 3 players total can play. So you and 2 friends on either single player or operations mode. So the single player campaign, you're going to be following Lieutenant Titus, who was the character from the first one. And I've gone into all the lore about that in the other video. You can find that linked in the upper right hand corner. But just to kind of paraphrase real quick here, you're going to be playing against the Tyranids, which if you are brand new to Warhammer 40,000, the easiest way to think about them is the Zerg from StarCraft. In fact, there's a really funny thing about the Games Workshop and relationship between Games Workshop and Blizzard, and that's a whole story for a different time. But as a Space Marine, you will be killing the Tyranids. Now, also there is a second antagonist of sorts. I guess you can really kind of say it's the prime antagonist, and it is going to be the Forces of Chaos, the Trader Marines in the Thousand Suns, another throwback from the first game. Now, the big thing here between the single player and the operations mode is that the operations mode is going to be run in tandem to what's going on during the single player narrative. So while your characters are doing their thing across the 6 missions of the operations mode, you'll be talking to Titus, getting your briefings from him, and you'll be talking back and forth in the middle of the actual mission, so it adds a really fun narrative flair to it. And the same can be said for single player. You'll be getting reports from all of the operatives in the armoring hall, which is where you will basically go to equip yourselves. We're going to talk about that in customization. And in that, you'll be getting those reports from anyone that's going on operations. You'll be getting Vox reports from them in the middle of missions and stuff like that. So there's a really fun narrative thread between these 2 modes in single player and operations. Now, for multiplayer, a lot of people were unsure if it was actually going to be 3v3 or if it's 6v6. They said that it was 6v6 in the past a long time ago, and it is fully confirmed to be a 12-player multiplayer 6v6 mode. And it just has those 3 game modes that I mentioned earlier. So a team deathmatch, a King of the Hill. Now, I say King of the Hill in the sense that the way I've always played it is you take a point, and that point moves after a certain amount of time. That's how this game mode is played. It's not a set point that you take and hold and it's there for in perpetuity of the mode. It'll move around. Your other one is your standard 3-zone capture and control. So if you play Destiny, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's one that we've seen through plenty of other multiplayer games. Now, one of the things that is not confirmed yet, because even though we've seen a lot of footage for operations, we've seen some passing stuff from Gamescom with single player and the discussion of both crossplay and cross save, we don't have enough information on multiplayer of whether or not it will have the kill streaks that we had in Game 1. For those that played Game 1, you know what I'm talking about. For those that don't, basically you had the kill streaks that you have whenever you play Call of Duty. Get X amount of kills, it allows you to do whatever action it is. So we don't know if that's coming to the game just yet, but we'll find out soon enough. So those are your game modes. Let's talk about some customization. Customization is a full suite of configurables for every single class in the game. All classes have preset loadouts you can use that have a set of armor and customization, so it's a bit more set and forget. You basically go and say, hey, I'm going to choose this armor set, and it has everything adorned on it as you wish. You can further customize everything by completely changing the armor sets and pulling pieces you particularly want. What I like about this is that each class has either a different armor pattern, like the sniper using Phobos armor or the heavy using Gravis, or an entirely different armor style, like the tactical class and bulwark both being the same type of armor, but having entirely different looks. So once you've customized or built out the armor how you want it, you can then go about painting your Primaris in whatever color palette you like. Maybe you want to stick with one of the specific chapter color schemes that you can unlock as you play, or you want to make your own custom chapter. Truly, the sky is the limit. And those color options are unlocked as you play across all the game modes. And we aren't 100% sure if there are specific challenges or if it's just completely X amount of missions on Y difficulty in Z game mode. I'd personally like to see more challenge-oriented unlocks than pure grinding ones, but from what we've seen in the most recent blog post that they launched is that it's mainly doing a certain number of things in a certain mode in repetition, so more of a grindy style. Outside of the color unlocks from chapters, each chapter will also unlock further cosmetic upgrades that you can give to your characters. So perhaps it's the plumed helmets of the Ultramarines or the tilting shields commonly associated with the Black Templars. Hopefully we'll see some fun themed options like the wolf pelts for the Space Wolves, or even those sort of like plastic clacky vampire teeth we used as kids during Halloween for the Blood Angels. Whatever it is, unlocking these chapter specific cosmetics doesn't mean that they're locked to that chapter. Nay, once you've acquired them, you can use them across any custom setup you want, and that's absolutely huge. So some of the DLC that you might have seen, like the McCragg's Son DLC, or McCragg's Chosen, I think is what it's called, or the Season Pass, which gives you access to, Season Pass, I almost said Battle Pass. The Season Pass, which gives you access to the Ultramarines cosmetic pack. You're getting all these different cosmetics that you're going to unlock from that specific chapter that it's falling under, but you can use those cosmetics however you want on whatever you want, as long as it falls within that class's specific purview. So, for example, the camo cloak on a sniper, you're not going to be able to throw that onto a tactical. So that's an example of something that would be specifically locked to one class, but another example too further would be maybe a different style of the pauldrons that has a huge eagle's face on it or something like that. That might be something that would be unlocked across all of the armor patterns depending on. So it's just going to be dependent upon the class and what it can actually have on it. But all this is great and all, but what does the future of Space Marines 2 look like after launch? What I'm talking about. Well, Focus Entertainment was supposed to have released a blog post this month talking about plans for the future of both Operations and Eternal War, but we haven't heard of anything yet. It makes sense, I guess. We just had Gamescom, there's PAX West coming this next weekend, and then the launch is the weekend after, so I guess it makes sense that things have just kind of been backburnered. But it's nice that they plan to take the route of offering anything that they would be adding for free as just part of a live service, quote unquote, for the game, by stating that any future DLC for the title will be solely cosmetic, something that they did for Game 1, offering cosmetic packs that are themed around a lot of the first and second founding Space Marine chapters. Now personally, my own opinion, I am of the mindset where I genuinely do not want more live service games. I'd like to play the hell out of a game, beat it, 100% it, and move on. There are too many good games coming out at an alarming rate, and most of them in varying states of what you could call complete, sure, but I'm hoping any content added to Space Marine 2 is done at a rate where I just can keep up. I'm not in college gaming my balls off anymore, unfortunately. And as thus, my time to play games becomes less and less. Maybe that was my fault for getting an Australian Shepherd who huffs cocaine and needs constant stimulation, who knows, but either way, I'm very curious to see what the future holds for Space Marine 2. And let me know in the comment section below, do you want SM2 to be a full live service game like Helldivers 2? Would you want quarterly expansions upon the operation missions? Themed events around GW releases, Games Workshop releases for more modes and multiplayer? Let me know your thoughts below. I'm beyond excited to jump into the game next month, and I'll be doing giveaways of Space Marine 2 on my Twitch channel when the game does go live, so please don't forget to check my Twitch out, linked in the description below. But as always, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one, and take care.